Hi everybody, welcome back to this mountainside, oceanside timber frame build here in Shimoda, Japan. I'm John. Well, to say it's been a long time coming is an understatement. This week's video is all about getting to the highest heights of this timber frame build and doing the rafters. We're gonna notch, we're gonna cut, we're going to carry, we're going to place, and we're going to complete all of the rafters on this timber frame build. And that sets us up for our first of only 2 inspections in this whole build. So we got to get it done right. Join me. So my story pole is starting from the outside 0. I have 2 marks, 4.5 centimeters and 4.5 centimeters. These will help me adjust the rafters up there, and I'll explain it later. And then we've got a mark from 0, 455, which is where the spacing for every rafter. And 9, 10, 12, 13, 65, 18, 20. So this will help me to mark out the beams. Okay. Okay, 2 days ago I made this jig for cutting notches into the beams that the rafters will sit in. It'll make sense when you see it in action. I really don't know if it's going to work. I've just tested it down here on dummy pieces. I think it will work. We've got about a 23-degree slope here, which matches the slope of the roof, of course. We set this on the beam like this. The beam will sit right here, and then this pocket will allow the radial saw to plunge down and just, cut a section of the beam out, and then I'll use a chisel to refine it. Okay, I've got my walking surfaces all set. I can see all of the beams that I have to address. Next step is measuring and marking the locations of the rafters on the beams up there, and then we'll get to cutting. And supposedly we just cut. It just sits there while I cut. I'm plugged in, powered on. The depth of the saw is already set. It's maxed out. It's maxed out because this jig sits proud of the beam itself by quite a bit. I prepared the beams for 3 rafters up top, so I need 6 2x4s per side, so I need 12 2x4s in total. And like I said, each one of them, one single rafter consisting of two 4-meter 2x4s, will have only 3 cuts made. Ridge beam, bird's mouth for the ridge beam, and bird's mouth for the wall plate. Process-wise, this isn't ideal right now because I was using the power tools and the electricity up top. I've got to bring them down here to do the rafters, so I'm moving a bunch of stuff twice. And then also now my rafter material, raw material, is 1 level down, so I'll probably start up the excavator and bring a whole pile of them up here so I have less movement, less unnecessary movement. So because I'm using the jig, there's actually only one measurement that I have to take, and I'll show you that in just a second. But jig-wise, I just go to the top of the board and I mark the right angle for the ridge beam, and then I mark the notch for the ridge beam also. These are simple cuts. And then the partner, so this will become the top part of the rafter, and its partner will become the bottom part of the rafter. And so on this bottom part, there's only one measurement that I have to take. I have to ensure that there's 910 mil, or almost 1 meter of eave overhanging. So I have to make sure that I measure that properly when I'm making the bird's mouth notch down at that end. Okay, now these are only temporarily placed. They may be permanent, but I think I'll have to adjust a little bit, and that may mean taking this out again, putting it back in. The adjustments will occur when I start putting the other side together and making sure that they match at the top, and then also when I put the bottom in and making sure the entire rafter is one straight line instead of something like this. And I have a feeling a lot of them are going to be something like this. Okay, so in terms of process, this seems to be working. So that means I think the next action is going to be come back with the notching jig and just notch out the whole bit, and then go down, notch out all the rafters down there, carry up the rafters in bundles of 10 or 15, and just work my way across. I could be done in a day if I don't have any real major hiccups. Okay, we're back for day 2 of the actual rafter framing work. And I think I've got a process down. I got 3 rafters on each side done yesterday. And I think I'm going to simplify this a little bit, particularly with the notching on the beams. I don't think I need the jig. I don't think I need the radial saw. I'm just going to go up there with a handsaw. I've already got the marks in place. I'm going to just use the handsaw and a chisel and get them knocked out in just a few minutes, and then get down to the rafters and start cutting them, and I think we'll be done really soon. take a little break. At our new place in town, we have a similar mountain view, opposing mountain view as this. In that mountain we've got like 4 or 5 wisteria trees, which are just these beautiful pockets of purple that pop out against all this lush green. I love this time of year because all of the trees are in full leaf right now, and you can just see all of these different colors and textures. It's just like a mountainside of different varying types of broccoli. But no wisteria trees in this view. Still, it's beautiful. I might have already mentioned it, but these rafters really gave me a lot of difficulty. It took me, 3 weeks of thinking and mulling and planning and trying before I actually got to yesterday when I put the first 3 up. I just had a mental block about that, about how to do it. And I had 4 or 5 different opinions from various voices telling me how to do it. And ultimately I chose my own path, which is a combination of some suggestions that 3 or 4 people gave me. But I just could not figure out how to make a 7.3 meter long rafter touch on 4 points, 4 beams, in a secure, level fashion. Level meaning, touching on all 4 at the same level. And ultimately the result, the method that I'm using is probably the simplest way that you could go about doing this. So yeah, I didn't have a breakthrough in my understanding of the problem. I was sweating it up until 2 nights ago, really not knowing how I was going to do it. But as soon as I got here yesterday morning, I had in my mind committed to a certain process, and as soon as I got one done, I knew that was it, and I could just motor on, and it became easy. It became easy. 3 weeks of sweating the details, stress too, keeping me up at night, and finally it just became easy. Okay, so I've got 12 upper rafter segments for the east side of the roof and 12 upper rafter segments for the west side of the roof. I'm going to go down and get geared up, come back up here and put these in place. Then we'll worry about the bottom parts. Okay, that's the 5 o'clock bell. Usually I'm gone by this point and B wants to go. But I've got to get these secured. These top rafters could slide off, could blow off in the wind. So I'm going to go up on the peak here. I've got my scaffolding there. I'll get up on the peak. I'm going to screw these two together at the peak, and then I'm going to put long structural screws into both sides. They won't go anywhere after this. I think I'll go down to the other side and start there. Yeah, don't want to start on this side. Yeesh. This is gonna be painful on the camera. You guys are gonna get bumped all the way across. Except for this one little gap I left. Oh, come on. I can't move my feet. Ah, shit, what am I gonna do? On my knees. Oh, my knees aren't gonna be happy about this. You don't want to see the contortions I'm going through. Hands and knees, baby. So this is the gap I'm talking about. I just put these rafters in place and I broke my own rule. I didn't just tack them down. I put them about an inch into the wood thinking I got this. And look at this gap now. So I've got to go off of my perch here, go back down, unscrew those screws and fix this. I was on a roll. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got half of them done. Now I got a break. You know, Beach-chan, you're being a good girl. Yeah. A beautiful Sunday morning, the day before Golden Week. Tomorrow I take off for Imie's parents' place. B is still clean, and I've got just 24 rafters to put into place. Let's get it done. That was getting in the rhythm. Mid-progress report. So the tops are screwed in, they're screwed in this side to that side, and they're screwed in to the top beam. The upper plate here, I'm calling this just nomenclature, the ridge beam, the upper plate, the lower plate, and the wall plate, okay? So the rafters, they're screwed in at the ridge beam. They're screwed in at the upper plate, but I haven't put them home just yet, just in case I need to adjust. They're screwed in at the lower plate, also haven't put them home, and they're mainly not screwed in at the wall plate. I'm leaving that off for now for two reasons. One, it'll be easier and safer if I come up from below with a ladder. It'll be a little bit slower, but do it that way. Also too, when they're not connected, I have just a little bit of flexibility as I'm sistering these two together. And so you can see I'm putting 6 screws into each connection. And I'm hoping that's enough. The inspectors will tell me so, I guess. But we're good. I'm much slower than I thought, much less further along than I thought at this point. But we still got sunshine. We're going. Okay, wow. That is it for me, folks. Man, the rafters are in. The roof is about to be done, but next step is inspection now. We're right at the beginning of Golden Week, Japan's spring holiday, so nothing's going to happen for probably 10 days at the earliest, maybe 2-3 weeks, who knows. I've got just a few, tweaks here and there, some structural braces that aren't in, a few interior walls and stuff that are on the drawing. They may want to see. So I've got a few things to do to fill my time, but yeah, pretty much I'm taking a break now, and I'm going to wait for the inspection and wait for the approval, and then as soon as we get the approval, plywood all the way around, get this thing dried in soon. Rainy season in Japan, here in Shimoda at least, starts at about June 15th. I know we're still miles away from that, so I have no hesitation in saying that I will get it done. But anyway, those are the next steps. Please join me in following those next steps. Thanks for hanging around so much. Have a great Golden Week if you're in Japan. If you're not in Japan, just have a great end of April, start of May. Take care, everybody. Bye now.